An end-to-end lead generation content marketing strategy has to tie together that top of funnel early stage buyer content that you commonly find in a blog with the premium conversion assets. So how do you go about doing that? Well, it's you begin with the end in mind. So what are the high probability pains that you solve for clients? And then produce some really core, meaty conversion assets like white papers, infographics on those topics. But to make sure that the conversation flows and there's continuity through the subjects, you want your blog posts, your articles, your early stage videos to be what I would call facets of those pains. So more micro segments of those exact same topics. So as you're, let's say in the beginning of the year, maybe beginning of a quarter, at minimum beginning of a month, and laying out your editorial calendar for your topics, there's nothing wrong with having a Valentine's themed blog post on Valentine's Day, or a Christmas themed blog post on Christmas or on the holidays. But a lead generation strategy needs to tie together these micro topics of pains, business problems you solve that feed into the bigger, more core assets you're going to produce, like white papers, infographics, so that there's continuity of subject. The early stage buyers who are looking to solve those problems will logically follow that path. And then when sales comes in and they can see the lead intelligence through syncing your website through marketing automation to your CRM, that they can see exactly what content has been clicked on, and your sales team is now the most prepared to say, oh, this prospect is interested in this topic, more specifically this micro version of that topic. And that's how they can come to that conversation most prepared with the open-ended consultative questions to hopefully have a successful sales cycle. So content marketing for lead generation is more than just top of funnel activity. It really can and should be designed to assist sales reps as they convert these prospects on through the funnel in the sales cycle. A perfect example, if we remember that the purpose of digital content marketing is to replicate what sales reps used to do face-to-face. If you imagine a good old-fashioned sales call of 10 years ago in a first meeting where you're getting to know each other, you're explaining what it is you and your company does, and maybe the prospect raises an objection. And they say, oh yeah, that's great, but that won't work for us because of X, Y, Z. As a professionally trained sales rep, you instantly know how to overcome that objection, right? Well, marketers today can do the same thing with content, right? You should be able to pretty accurately predict what are the high probability objections your sales team or your company will face with buyers. What are the stumbling blocks? And marketing should absolutely be producing assets that address those high probability objections. Maybe it's a simple video, maybe it's an article, maybe it's an infographic. And then you need to use those assets in two ways. One, remember the buyer's in control. So don't make the mistake of hiding these things and keeping them to your sales reps thinking, oh, when they get the objection on the phone, I'm gonna pull out this infographic that overcomes their objection, because that phone call may never happen, right? That prospect may raise the objection in their mind silently and never engage with you. So this content needs to be available on your website in a way that the prospect can self-navigate to it, and it is intuitive for them based on where they're at in their buying cycle. And then number two, your sales team needs to know the assets that the marketing team has produced so that they have the stuff in their hip pocket, right? So just like the sales rep who used to be face-to-face, they hear the objection, they instantly know how to address that objection. Today, maybe that's nothing more than a social media conversation or an email thread, because there's nobody on the phone, there's nobody face-to-face. You've got to have that article, that PDF, that video, that link to whatever. That sales rep needs to have it in their hip pocket to say, oh, I hear that a lot from other clients who we've done business with. Let me share this asset with you that addresses that specifically. So the content marketing for lead generation doesn't stop at, hey, sales team, here's somebody who filled out a form. It's producing content that assists in the entire process from early awareness all the way through purchase.